time is 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting, especially those who are joining us by Zoom. Councilmember Clark will not be in attendance tonight, and she is joining us by Zoom, and I understand is logged on. So thank you, Councilmember Clark, for taking the time to join us. I know, and best wishes to your brother. I hope everything went well. We got a report that everything went well, and give him our best wishes, please. Councilmember Clark, I will just let you know that when we take a vote, if it's okay after we vote, I will just ask for your vote, just for the record. If you can unmute once we vote and just give your vote, and I will call on you for your vote if that's okay. So if there's any objections to that, let me know. I will also remind those on Zoom, if you would like to make a comment, if you will either use the raise your hand feature, or if you will put a note in chat, and the host here at City Hall will let us know that you would like to make a comment. The invocation this evening will be given by Councilmember Gerald. The pledge will be led by Councilmember Abney. If you're able, please rise.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come out tonight and represent the city, Lord. We just pray you to be with us in every decision that we make. As we go across the country, Lord, we do have a lot of problems. We just ask you to be with us, each group, Lord, and as we go through the COVID-19, Lord, we just ask you to bring us to a point that we can get over this and continue. Thank you for the opportunity to meet tonight. And Lord, we have a parade again on Monday, and we just ask you for good weather that day, and the people may be able to come out and get back to the way it used to be. Now I ask you to be with us, be with the council, help us to make the right decisions. For it's in Christ's name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, council members. I'd also like to remind those who are speaking, if you would, very hard for people on Zoom to hear us. Of course, we're working on that situation. Hopefully, fairly soon we'll have that rectified. But please get as close to your mic as you can and speak loudly and clearly. And I hope I'm speaking loud enough through this mask. We'll ask Madam Clerk to take attendance of the council.
Mayor Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Abney.
Here.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Darrell.
Here.
Councilmember Keith.
Here. Thank you very much. First, we'll ask for requests for addition, deferral, or withdrawal of items on today's agenda. We will withdraw under new business item E, the bunker gear. That will be withdrawn from the agenda. So if you will mark through that or take that off your agenda, that will be removed from the agenda. Do we have any others? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adopt the agenda? A motion by Councilmember Abney, second by Councilmember Gerald to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Clark?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Public participation, do we have any cards or public comments? Cards, no cards?
No, sir.
Do we have any comments from Zoom?
No, sir.
No, okay, we will move on with presentations and proclamations. The first proclamation we have is to proclaim the month of September 2020 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I don't believe there's anyone here to accept this proclamation, so we will read it into the record. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, whereas September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, which directs the community's attention to this public health epidemic, destroying lives, whole families, and sometimes entire communities. And whereas suicide is the second leading cause of death in the United States among individuals aged 10 to 34 years old, And whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death overall in the United States, claiming the lives of more than 47,000 people. And whereas on average, there are 123 suicides a day, or one every 12 minutes. And in Okeechobee County, there were 8 suicides in 2019. And whereas suicide is the only type of death that is 100% preventable, and by offering the public education, data, support, and services, we as a community have taken a step toward preventing another suicide by our residents. And whereas we are honored to be part of the healing process, supporting services addressing mental health illnesses and drug and alcohol addiction, now therefore I, Dowling R. Walker Jr., by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Okeechobee, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2020 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. It's third day of September 2020, and we will get that to the proper authorities. Next, we have proclaimed the month of September 2020 as Hunger Action Month. I'll come down front. I believe we have Aaron Cox and Erica Chavez to receive this proclamation. And if you'll join me up front here, please. If you'll just join me right here. You can come up too. We'll take pictures. We'll take pictures in just a second. If you'll join me, I'll read the proclamation, then I'll give you an opportunity. Okay, and our clerk has on her. And we have some orange in the audience. Okay. Office of the Mayor. Whereas hunger and poverty remain issues of grave concern in the United States, the state of Florida, the Treasure Coast, and the city of Okeechobee, with 6,050 children and adults in Okeechobee County now characterized as food insecure. And whereas the city of Okeechobee is committed to taking steps to raise awareness about the need to combat hunger in every part of our city and to provide additional resources that the citizens of Okeechobee need. And whereas the city of Okeechobee is committed to working with the Treasure Coast Food Bank and mobilizing people about the role and importance of food banks and other hunger relief organizations in addressing hunger and bringing attention to the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger issues. And whereas food banks and hunger relief organizations across the country, including the Treasure Coast Food Bank, coordinated Hunger Action Day on September the 10th, 2020, and will continue to host numerous events throughout the month of September to shed light on this important issue and encourage involvement in efforts to end hunger in their local community. Now, therefore, I, Dowling R. Walker Jr., by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Okeechobee, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2020 as Hunger Action Month. Congratulations. Oh, I don't know if we're supposed to shake hands or not. There you go. And there's your proclamation. And thank you for being here. And you have the floor if you'd like to address the council. If you would please. All right. So the podium.
I want to thank the city of Okeechobee for having us, Treasure Coast Food Bank here. We really appreciate it. And my name is Louis Vera. I'm a community outreach coordinator. And I'm here with Erica Chavez. And on behalf of the CEO, staff, board of directors of the Treasure Coast Food Bank, we'd like to thank the commissioner for the proclamation naming September as Hunger Action Month. Treasure Coast Food Bank is the largest hunger relief organization here on the Treasure Coast and Okeechobee, providing food and other essentials. The impact of COVID-19 has shown how easily people can find themselves in the need for emergency food and amid the pandemic. Treasure Coast Food Bank has seen the need increase 200% in the months since the start of the pandemic. Over 10 million pounds of healthy, nutritious food have been distributed throughout the Treasure Coast. We cannot do this without your continued support of our over 400 programs and partnering agencies. If you want to find out any more information, we do have tons of information on how to get help. And if you know any people that want to volunteer, you can always use the help. They visit stophunger.org. We greatly appreciate the help you guys do for us.
I think we need to let everyone know that the Treasure Coast Food Bank does mobile food pantries here in Okeechobee at the Ag Center.
Oh, yeah.
Your mother, I see your mother there every time, and I have been at most of those.
Oh, yeah.
And the county has been very supportive, the sheriff's office, the fire department with the county has been very supportive, the ag center staff has been extremely supportive. And it's a great event, very well organized, and it's amazing the amount of people that need this assistance and how well the food bank responds to this. And I know your mother can probably tell you that the items they get is just fabulous to help these people, so we appreciate it. And I failed to get a picture. So we will need to, I haven't been doing this very long. And if you get in the picture, we'll get one with you.
Yeah.
We'll get one with you too.
There you go. My name is. Okay.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and now, Rob, wait a minute, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. This is the official city.
Okay.
Okay, and thank you again for being here, thank you for, we give it still. Yeah, give her our best wishes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The food bank, we have a gift here, I'll turn this over to the clerk. Oh, wow, now next time, y'all get an orange pie too. The clerk will take care of that. Thank you very much.
No, we appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you for the service to our citizens.
Oh, we love it.
We really appreciate it. I know your staff loves to come out here and say we have one of the best organized.
It's like an assembly line.
Yeah.
You know, even with the heat. We're very close to
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will move on then with the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda you would like removed? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve we have a motion? Okay, and motion and second. Motion by Councilmember Gerald, second by Councilmember Keith to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? We'd just like to thank the appointee, John Kepke, for agreeing to be on the Firefighters Pension Board. He's been on there a long time, so we appreciate his service on there. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carried. We'll open the first reading of public hearing for budget ordinances. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider the first reading of ordinances for the proposed millage rate levy and proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. The proposed millage rate levy represents 6.03% more than the rollback rate computed pursuant to Florida statute 200.06165, paragraph 1. We need a motion to read proposed ordinance number 1216 by title only. Do we have a motion? Have a motion by Councilmember Gerald. We have a second. Second by Councilmember Abney to read by title only. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember
Aye.
Clark? Aye, thank you. Mr. Attorney, will you read ordinance number 1216, please?
Yes, sir. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Okeechobee levying the ad valorem property tax millage rate for municipal purposes on all taxable property within the city in accordance with the provisions of state law for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, providing that 7.0618 per $1,000 valuation shall not be levied on homestead property. That 7.018 valuation shall be used for general city purposes. That said millage rate is 6.03% more than the rollback rate of 7.1696 computed in accordance with Florida statute 200.065, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the first reading and set September 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. as final public hearing date?
Motion.
Have a motion by Councilmember Keith, second by Councilmember Gerald, to approve the first reading and set the final public hearing date. We'll open it up for discussion. Are there any public comments? This is to set the millage rate of 7.6 018. Do we have any public comments on the millage rate?
I have a question for clarification, because one number was read in the title, and then you just read a second, different number.
My ordinance says 7.6018.
Yes, sir.
Is that the correct millage rate? I do think it was read incorrectly.
Okay, but that is the correct number.
7.6018.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, no public comment, we'll bring it up here for discussion from the council. I know we discussed this at the two workshops, other discussion from the council on the millage rate. Councilmember Clark, any discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, we'll vote on the motion to adopt the first reading and set September 21st as final public hearing date. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark,
Aye.
thank you very much. The next item, we'll move on to the next item. We need a motion to read by title only, ordinance number 1217 to set the budget, the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Do we have a motion to read ordinance number 1217 by title only? Have a motion by Councilmember Abney, second by Councilmember Gerald. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark,
Aye.
thank you very much. Motion carries. Mr. Attorney, this is Exhibit 2 in your packet. Would you please read ordinance number 1217?
Yes, sir. Ordinance adopting an annual budget for the city of Okeechobee for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020, and ending on September 20th, 2021, appropriating funds for operating expenses of the city of Okeechobee for the general operation of the several departments of the city and other fixed obligations of the city for and during the fiscal year, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, next we need a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 1217 and set the final public hearing date for September the 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. Do we have a motion? A motion by Councilmember Key, second by Councilmember Gerald. We'll open it up for, well, first I'll have a letter that has to be read into the record, so I will read that letter and then we'll go to public comments. This is a letter from the, I think you all have given a copy of this evening at the place. This is a letter from the Economic Council of Okeechobee, RE fiscal year 2020-2021 budget priority, mayor and members of the city council. In respect to the budgetary priorities and proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021, the Economic Council requests your consideration of the following in your efforts to be fiscally responsible and forward-thinking. Number one, finalizing an interlocal agreement with Okeechobee County for fire services will save the city approximately $600,000 annually in redundant spending. Number two, increasing the prioritization of the general appearance of our city will create an environment that fosters private investment and prudent growth. Historically, the city's commitment to landscaping, general aesthetics, and the related maintenance has been inadequate. Recent actions of the city council to improve this are wise, appreciated, and show careful thought to the future economic well-being of the city and taxpayers. Number three, an increase in council support for the code enforcement department and staff is urgently needed. While many valuable changes have been made in the department in recent years, engage legal counsel, special magistrate support staff. The benefits of an effective code enforcement system have yet to be realized. We ask that your support be increased, whether through added funding, increased legal support for foreclosure processing and ordinance revisions, and/or the reorganization of the department. Number four, continue to fund and prioritize initiatives such as the charter review and comprehensive plan review demonstrate prudent long-term thinking for the future of the city. In these uncertain times, it is paramount that we continually evaluate the allocations of our very limited tax dollars and determine what expenses are necessary for the long-term viability of our city. Prioritizing the points above is in the best interest of our community and those who serve. Respectfully, Jennifer Fishberry, Executive Director of Economic Council of Okeechobee County. And you have that before you. We'll open it up then for other public comments. Anyone from the public to comment on proposed ordinance number 1217 on the budget. If you would please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, Frank Early, 1385 Southeast 23rd Street. Although I haven't been at your budget workshops, I have been following it, and I certainly appreciate your efforts in dealing with what not only governments but businesses are dealing with, and that's a loss of revenue. So we certainly appreciate that, and I appreciate that. It's not just government that's losing revenue or expecting revenue loss, but all of those people that have been affected, which is the reason you're losing revenue, because they closed down so much business. So we certainly appreciate that. And that obviously causes sometimes to make decisions that maybe you would not like to make. I would, and this might seem a little unusual, but I will say I'm here representing the Economic Development Corporation. And I know the city has been supporting the Economic Development Corporation for 3 years, and we appreciate that. I know that this year during your budget discussions, you felt the need to reduce that support. We agree with that. However, here's what I would like to suggest, and I know it's kind of late in the game. Because we, the Economic Development Corporation, feel so strongly about the improvement of the downtown park, we would suggest and ask that maybe you take that $40,000 that you have planned to allocate to the EDC and use that money for the redevelopment of the downtown park. Because we think that is one of the major improvements that would have a very positive impact on how the downtown park is seen, not only by us who live here, but people who drive through. And especially to people we might bring into the city, hoping to entice them to move here. So, and I don't know how that works with you guys, but now this is coming from the board from the EDC, that we don't feel like we could take that money and use it for that purpose because of our charter and what our mission is. We today have enough money to forego that and ask that you consider taking that $40,000 and using it for the development of the downtown park. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Any questions? Councilmember Key?
That was a board directive? Yes. It's great. It's a great fund. But again, that's a request. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll bring it.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Can you real fast, Director?
Yes, ma'am.
It has been posted on the website and provided the book before you. It's open to the public. It's a document information pages. I want to point out that I did not include, so may I do that?
Yeah.
Before we go forward?
Let's make sure there's no other public comments.
Okay.
No other public comments. Hearing none, citizens agreeable with council will then go to staff. Madam Finance Director, will go to you.
Thank you, Mayor. May I speak from here? Or shall
I think you need to go to the microphone.
Just clean up.
Thank So, again, the budget itself is absolutely correct. For information purposes, in the term of facility count, of the facility fund count, and that would be on page 4, 20, sorry, on page 24, that's 31. And this is my directive from council during the second workshop, and the numbers reflect correctly on the left-hand page, which is page 23, which is the actual budget. Gray areas are for information purposes, saying what items that were kind of tagged within that line item in the budget. So I do want to clarify that the first line, 3,100 engineering/professional services, is at $10,000, not 15.
And that's correct
On page 23.
yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Same thing, there's several. I mean, the entire column is not correct, so I want to make sure that everyone's aware of these numbers. Under 4609, sidewalk repair and ADA, instead of 50,000, it's 40,000. And these were specific directives that are included in the budget that's before you tonight. The next item, under 5300, the first sign repair replacement is at 10,000, number 20. Same 5300 line item, but all the way down to storm water infiltration repair. Instead of 20,000, it's 10,000. Getting down to item 6300, asphalt and roadway. Instead of 140,000, it's 80,000. And the sidewalk program is from 15,000 to 5,000. And again, the numbers that I've shared with you in correction on the informational page are within page 23 and within the ordinances that are used number and with that.
Any questions of the finance director? You know, these are those are some of the changes we made in our last workshop. So we're going to lower the budget. Any questions? No questions. Thank you. Okay, it's here for council discussion for the first reading and setting the final public hearing.
I'd like to ask the question as far as what Mr. Irby had mentioned about moving that 40,000 to the park versus to the corporation.
It's the council, that's, I guess, the council decision. Apparently, they're not asking for the $40,000. So, yeah, the council would remove that $40,000, period, just remove it, save the city $40,000. The council could reallocate it to, to the park. I don't count that.
Right. The professional services was actually out of the capital fund, for the professional services for the landscape architect. But what I would, Marcus and I were just conferring, if that was the council's wish, is that we, because of the advertising,
Yeah.
and I look to the clerk in regards to this, that we could do a budget amendment, moving it from general.
And we could do that at any time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
can do that after the budget. To give you time to think about that and decide. We could do a budget amendment, change that once we adopt.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, it may be prudent, once we select the landscape architect, we give them that first award and do the bid, we may have a better idea of what that number is and know that we have $40,000 towards that first section. Maybe a good time to do that, and then when we actually know what the hard bid would be to do the work, we get the article posted.
I wanted to have a discussion of this, and they're saying they don't need it, we can use it for the park. I'm for that.
I love the idea. I think it's a good idea, and since we had voted to get it to the economic development, and they're referring it back to us to use it in our park, and I think that's where it should be used, is in the parks.
Okay. Councilmember Park, any comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Other comments? We will we'll leave the budget as is with the understanding that $40,000 the year mark for park. Okay, and we'll do that as a budget amendment when we get the architect. Okay. Any other discussions from the council? If not, we'll vote on the motion to adopt the first reading, set September 21st as the final public hearing date. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Carr,
Aye.
very much. Motion passes. So we will be set for a final public hearing on September 21st. And that closes our budget hearing. So we'll move on to the next ordinance. That closes the budget hearing. Excuse me. That closes the budget hearing, but does not close the public hearing. We need a motion to read by title only. Ordinance number 1215 regarding the abandonment of right-of-way petition number 20-001-AC-SC, Exhibit 3 in your packet. Do we have a motion to read by title only? So have a motion by Councilmember Gerald. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Keith to read by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. Mr. Attorney, if you will read ordinance number 1215.
Yes, sir, an ordinance of the city of Okeechobee vacating and abandoning certain rights of way being unapproved portion of an alley 20 feet in width lying between lots 1 through 10 and lots 17 through 26 of block 39, city of Okeechobee, according to the plat thereof as recorded. Book 5, page 5, of Public Records of Okeechobee County, Florida, together with an unapproved portion of the northwest 10th Street, 100 feet in width, lying between lots 1 through 10 of block 39 and lots 17 through 26 of block 28, city of Okeechobee, according to the plat thereof as recorded in plat book 5, page 5, Public Records of Okeechobee County, directing the city clerk to record the ordinance in the public records of the clerk of the circuit court and inform Okeechobee County, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, thank you very much. We need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1215. We have a motion. So motion by Councilmember Keith, second by Councilmember Gerald. We'll open it up for the public. Any public comment on this ordinance number 1215? Seeing no public comment, we'll bring it up here for council discussion. Any discussion from the council? I think we discussed this quite a bit at the first reading. Are you good with us? Okay. We will then vote on adopting ordinance number 1215 to abandon the right of way. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. That closes the public hearing. We'll move on to new business. The first item under new business is to adopt resolution number 2020-12, extending the local public health state of emergency to October the 1st, 2020 due to the coronavirus. That's exhibit 4 in your packet. Do we have a motion to adopt the resolution? Motion to adopt. Have a motion by Councilmember Keith. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Gerald to adopt resolution number 2020-12. Mr. Attorney, if you would please read the title for the record. I can read it if you like. I'll read it. Resolution number 2020-12, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Okeechobee, Florida, extending the public health emergency due to coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19 through October 1st, 2020, providing an effective date. Any discussion on the motion? This is just extending what we've been doing. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, Councilmember Clark.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carried. Next item B, we need a motion to adopt proposed resolution number 2013, authorizing the execution and acceptance of a lighting maintenance agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation, and that's exhibit 5 in your packet. Do we have a motion? Have a motion by Councilmember Adams, second by Councilmember Gerald to adopt resolution number 2013. Mr. Attorney, you got it?
Yes, sir.
You got it?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Okeechobee authorizing execution and acceptance of the state highway lighting, maintenance, and compensation agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation, provided for an effective date.
Okay, thank you very much. Discussion, Mr. Administrator, you want to give us kind of an update on this or what?
This is basically the continuation of the agreement we have with the street lighting, we pay that for reimbursement from DOT. I do want to add something, I don't want to steal David's thunder.
Okay, well, and actually, I have clarification, even though it's space lighting, of course, we turned the lighting over to Jorgensen several years ago, which is more thing. This basically covers the landscape. Why they're calling it lighting, I don't know, but it's that thought. Again, yes, this is a continuation of what we've had in the past. When we put in all the landscape on 441, we agreed that we would continue with the maintenance of that. I'm sure no one is wanting to change that. As far as the amounts they send us, that's determined by AFDOT. We can't negotiate plus or minus. So it's basically how it's to say we want to keep taking the maintenance money from AFDOT.
Very good. Just one additional item I thought it was worthy to point out. We have a little review from DOT. I talked with David this morning about it, and DOT rated us very high on the ability they work with us and how we get things done and maintain. So I think that was kudos to Public Works. I mean, it's kind of one of the items on the great after this. So I appreciate what you guys do with DOT. Thank you.
Speaking of DOT, we got notification of the traffic signal.
I was very pleasantly, about a month ago, I spoke with the engineer and she assured me we probably weren't going to get construction going until the end of the year, but I don't know what changed, but it changed and I'm not going to argue with it, so I know that. And along with that, actually I did have a conversation with an FDOT engineer. They are in the process of getting ready the signals that both 8 and 10 of upgrading, replacing those signals. So basically, from what I've seen in the plans, it'll including new mast stops. So I wasn't aware that was on their radar, but again, I certainly didn't say no, we don't want that.
We're gonna get a left turn on 10th or
And I'm pointing to get, of course, with that 10th, there is the engineer, there's kind of 2 parallel tracks. FDOT was just looking at, at an upgrade there. Of course, there's also the engineer that is working with FDOT on the project for racetrack.
That's right.
It's a big organization, and I'm making sure that these people are talking together because this is one case where the right-handed FDOT, I don't think was completely aware of what the left hand was doing. But we're making sure that will continue to go forward.
Okay, any other discussion from council? Housekeeping item, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark?
Aye.
Very much. Motion carried. Next, item C, we need to approve the special magistrate fine reduction request, Exhibit 6 in your packet. Do we have a motion for fine reduction? Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Gerald to accept the fine reduction as recommended by the special magistrate. Do we have a second?
Just to be clear, there's 4 different ones.
Yeah, there's 4. Yeah.
It's okay. You can do it as a wholesale.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Keith. We'll go to discussion. Any discussion on it? I don't know that we can have a lot of discussion. This recommendation, Mr. Attorney, I don't know if we can have, we can't rehear the case, I know.
You cannot overturn the findings of fact made by the special magistrate unless you establish a record. Wow.
On number 1, it's just a wording thing there. It says request for a 10% reduction. It's really not a 10% reduction. It's a 90% reduction.
I was going to comment on that as well. Okay. Request of,
This is the fine, it's 10% of the fine, right?
that would have been,
Yeah, right, yeah. You're right, it's 90%. So we understand that it's $115, not. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. Next item, item D, We need a motion to release the reservations for lots 10, 11, and 12 in the Commerce Center. This is Exhibit 7 in your packet. Do we have a motion? Have a motion, is there a second? Motion by Councilmember Gerald, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Keith. This is to release the subsurface rights on these lots in the Commerce Center. Mr. Attorney, would you please let us know what this is?
Yes, sir. Pursuant to Florida statute, there's an automatic reservation of an undivided 3/4 interest in subsurface rights, in this case, phosphate minerals, metals, that may be in honor over these parcels. And there's also by law, when a local government owns a piece of property and sells it, again, there's an automatic reservation of a undivided 1/2 interest in the petroleum that may be under that land. So I was contacted by the attorney for the landowner, LD Okeechobee Properties LLC. And I don't know if there's a financing issue or how this, the reason why this came about at this point in time, but they've asked for a release of those subsurface rights that I just mentioned. And in addition, there's a 2 prongs to this, an estoppel letter. They've asked for an estoppel letter regarding the city's recorded declaration of protected covenants, restrictions, reservations over the Park of Commerce. As some of you may know, I learned a little bit in some research that the city, in 2004, the city, in an effort to establish some minimum standards for development quality within the Park of Commerce, it placed this declaration of covenants and restrictions and reservations of property. And so this would be an estoppel letter regarding that declaration, that there would be no further action or charge by the city relative to the declaration.
I didn't understand that, I'm sorry.
So
The last part.
yeah, so the estoppel letter, again, I don't know if they're seeking.
If we had those reservations or whatever you call them, must have had a reason to have those.
My question on this, just in particular, would be, since they the 3 lots, I think 2 were under or been developed, minus the building to be placed on one. This doesn't release the requirement from that TRC discussion to build what the requirement building, et cetera.
It's nothing I've ever seen before, this type of declaration. I'm sure there was a good reason for it in 2004. But it's considered something akin to a cloud of title. And I think, based on what Marco said, that I believe they're securing financing on some work on these parcels. And this may have been flagged, the title work. And the bank had asked for it to be addressed.
Okay, we'll wait for discussion from council.
Have we done this before? Released it on other lots?
Not that I'm aware of.
I guess we haven't been asked either.
Not that I'm aware of.
And just on the speak of that, the subsurface rights, if they were to say start a mine tomorrow, phosphate mine, they couldn't do that. You know, to do that right now under the LDR, they would have to come to us, go through the whole process again. You know, it's not just that they're going to start digging a hole or something like that. That's why, you know, we still have hooks on them through TRC, through our ordinance, et cetera. So, you know, they're not going to start a petroleum facility or something like that.
I thought this was a standard deed restriction. Everybody reserved the right to the minerals, the mineral right. Isn't that a standard thing?
Reserving them?
Yeah.
Well, it's automatic. Unless you release it, the local government can make that automatically. Now, I can tell you in other real estate transactions, the banks are getting a little bit tighter on some, because in Florida, you have to look real hard to find a piece of property that does not have a reservation of certain subsurface rights. But what we've been seeing, especially when you're seeking financing, banks are now saying, we'd like you to get a release. And some of them are quite difficult because they're held by International Paper Company, Southern States Land and Timber. These are companies that once upon a time held millions of acres of these subsurface rights all over. That part is not uncommon. Typically, it's not been a title issue.
When we purchased this property, did we probably have that reservation on our deed? So then can we release it if somebody, whoever we bought it from, if they reserve the rights, can we release them? So, see what I'm saying?
Right, our release, and I drafted the release, our release is only saying, to the extent the city has a statutory reservation, we'll release it. And that reservation is essentially the royalty. If someone were to mine it and make money, we would get a percentage.
So we are releasing that percentage.
Correct. We are releasing any claim of subsurface rights.
So back to the mayor's question, is there a reservation prior to us that we bought the property from?
I didn't look at the chain of title, but that's the landowner's problem. The only thing we're releasing
Is whatever right we have. So, I don't remember who we bought that property from, but let's say John Doe, we bought that property from. If they discovered oil and we had released our rights, John Doe could say, hey, look, sure, the city released their, whatever rights they had, but I still have rights. Is that correct? That's correct.
But if they had the right before, John Doe had the right, do we have the right to release ours? You may not even have the right to release.
So,
We're just waiving our rights.
yeah, some of you may be familiar with the concept of a quitclaim deed. We're conveying any rights that we may have. If we have zero rights, then we're conveying nothing. If we happen to have some rights, just like a quitclaim deed, if you're conveying any rights you might have.
If we have it.
Yeah, if we have it. That's what
We're not claiming we have any, we're just
No, we're not.
releasing them if we.
This is referring to the statute, where there's an automatic reservation of those rights. And so to the extent we have rights, we release them.
And do you recommend that?
Yes, I absolutely do not see any adverse precedent for releasing these subsurface rights. I do not, not aware in the southern half of the state of any value to these subsurface, and I've dealt with these issues in other contexts. This is simply a cloud on title that they're trying to clean up.
Well, I know back in the late '50s, this was a Waxahachie. I bought some property and I had to go back, and it was really an issue to go back and get the people to release it. And I couldn't get any money from the bank, and that was back in the '50s. Until it was cleared up. So I don't see where we have any value to us unless there's petroleum on it. Did you check on that?
Geotechnical work, but Palm Beach County, all of Palm Beach County, there's subsurface rights held by a company called Southern States Land and Timber. Routinely comes up, and they sell those. They won't charge you. You have to sell it to you.
What, and the reservation, what was the other thing, the estoppel you said?
Yes.
Maybe, is that in this, document we have, or whatever those reservations are, or is that just?
Yes, so exhibit B for my memo is the actual declaration. So you can see what.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
It's
Page 64. 64, man.
right, 60. We'll get there.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You'll see it here on pages,
Well, that's the very beginning of the declaration.
no, the whole document is there.
Yeah, the whole document, but where in the document are those reservations?
So there are two different things. One is the reservation, that's statutory.
Yeah.
The second is the estoppel letter. So in the declaration document, 21 pages, you see mention of assessments. Page 68, 67, 68. Assessments, special assessments, capital improvements, major repair. There are no assessments that have been made. The estoppel letter is a two-sentence letter that says there are no assessments.
Okay.
Motion is on 66, 67, 68. Not released in the declaration.
There's the Malcolm Land,
Again,
the Malcolm Land Company.
oh, that's who wrote it.
1970.
Okay, other questions from council? Are you satisfied? Everybody satisfied with the what we got there? Explanations? Any other questions? Are we ready to vote then on the motion? To approve the release? And the estoppel letter? Hearing no more discussion, we'll go on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Councilmember Clark?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, motion is carried. Okay, item E has been removed from the agenda, so we'll move on then to the Gary River Council member comments. We'll talk to Councilmember Abney.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Gerald.
I'd just like to remind everyone, we do have a parade Monday, and the last one was canceled. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we have a good turnout.
Rodeo Sunday and Monday.
Rodeo Sunday and Monday, and we'll get back to real Okeechobee. The letter there didn't sound like Okeechobee, it just stopped over. I'm just happy that we're having a parade.
Very good. You gonna be on the fire truck?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. Councilmember Keith.
Congratulations to Councilwoman Monica Clark and Councilman-elect Russell Kale. Looking forward to the next couple of years. That's it.
That's it. Councilmember Clark.
I just wanted to thank everyone for their prayers for my brother. I think everyone heard the cancer was completely in his pancreas and they removed half his pancreas yesterday. And he's doing well, so I appreciate all the prayers. I also appreciate the vote of confidence that I don't have to run an election this year.
Yeah.
And I'll see you Monday in the parade.
Very good. Do you know which hospital would he be in, if you don't mind telling us?
He's in Mayo. We're in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Mayo and Jacksonville, but it is Mayo. Thank you. Okay. Best wishes, and give him our best wishes.
I sure will. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the last item on the agenda, so we are adjourned.